Hey there, it's Mr. McTavish. So this is the sign project. So in the sign project, we're using tldsb.onshape.com. So when you log into that, you should be able to sign in using your Google account. And once you're in, we're going to Documents and Create Document. So you're going to type in your student number and the word sign. Click OK. So in Onshape, we're starting off in the Part Studio. And in the Part Studio, we are going to click the top menu and we're going to click the Sketch button. When you've done that, if you press the letter N on your keyboard, that is going to normalize your view. These tools are the tools in the sketch. We're going to create a rectangle. So it'll drop down the center point rectangle. Hold the mouse over the center, click once, move your mouse, click a second time, take your hand off the mouse, and you're going to type just the number 12. So you notice you don't have to click in the box at all, you just type it. And then same thing, you're just going to type 5.5, and that gives you your sign that's 12 inches by 5.5 inches. The green check mark will save our sketch so we have a rectangle on the screen. Then we click the Extrude button, we select the sketch, and we click the green check mark. So now I'm using my right mouse button to rotate. You can see we've got a three-dimensional sign, and I'm using the view cube to hit top so that I can see what I'm doing. So I'm going to click the top of the sign, and then I'm going to click sketch. Now I can add my text. So here's my text tool. So I'm just going to click that. I'm going to click in the bottom left corner. Notice if you have orange showing up, that's not a good thing. That's going to lock things in place, so you want to avoid that. So I'm just going to click in some blank space, move my mouse. Again, I'm making sure that there's no orange, and click a second time. So this will give me my text box. I can type my name, my family name, whatever text you want, and you can change your font. You can make it bold, etc., etc. Green check mark to set it. Now, your text is going to be too big, so the dimension tool, and you'll notice that the keyboard shortcut for the dimension tool is the letter D. You click the top of the text, you move your mouse and click again, and now you can type the size. So we're using 11 inches, which is a good size. And I'm going to turn that tool off by clicking it, or I could type the letter D. The top left corner of my text allows me to move it around, so I can get it in the general position that I want it. I want to also get it set the right size. So again, I'm going to select that dimension tool, and I'm going to select the left-hand side of the text. That becomes orange, and then the side of my sign, that becomes orange. So I click there, and now this is giving me the distance between them. So I click and I type 0.5 inches and turn that off. Now, if I chose a different dimension, I would obviously, to keep it centered, would use a different dimension there. The next part is I'm going to use the line tool. So there's the line tool and then the construction tool. And I'm going to hold my mouse over the top of my sign so it's orange and the little icon indicates that it is constrained. So I'm going to click once and I'm going to hold my mouse, and you'll notice that I've positioned it so I'm getting a right angle triangle, and I can see the little icon indicating it's a right angle. And it's orange up here, that indicates it's going to lock in place. So I've clicked there, and I'm just going to hit escape on my keyboard. That's the ESC button on your keyboard. The line tool construction again. Now I'm doing from the bottom, and again I'm going to make sure it's a right angle. So you might need to adjust, just take your time, and then click, and again escape. Now there are constraints, and you might only see this first constraint if you're on your Edwin. So there'll be a little drop down, so you've got to find the constraint using that drop down, and it's the one that looks like an equal sign. This is the equals constraint. I can now click that line, and that sets them to be equal distance. My text should be black now, indicating that it is fully constrained. It knows how big it is and where it is positioned and I can click the green check mark to save the sketch. Now I can click my Extrude button again, and I'm going to select Sketch 2 to extrude, and I'm going to select Remove, and I'm going to change my depth to 0.25 inches, and the green check mark. Now I should have my sign. I'm using my right mouse button to show you. There's my sign, everything's good. Here's my part. I'm going to right click and set my properties. So I'm going to set the name of my sign. So McTavish sign. I would set my part number and I would save. So I've got that saved. I'm going to right click as well, and I'm now going to export. So when I export it, I'm going to select the ACIS format, and I'll just get rid of the Part Studio 1. So there's the name. And okay, so that file is one of the files that I'm going to hand in. The second file, I'm going to right click the sign. I'm going to create a drawing. So with the drawing, I'm going to use an Onshape template for ANSI, A-N-S-I, and I'm going to select the ANSI B inch one, and I'm going to select the 4 views. So Onshape, ANSI, ANSI B inch, 4 views, okay. So this is going to create the drawing for me. When I'm manufacturing the drawing, I need to be able to, or manufacturing the sign, I need to be able to use the drawing so I know what I'm doing. And just waiting for this to load. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to set the origin. So the origin, I'm going to use this callout icon here. Again, with your Edwin, you might only see the first, that big capital A, you might only see the first thing, so you need to look through the drop downs till you find the right one. I'm going to click, I'm going to change what it says here, and I'm just going to type the word origin, and I'm just going to get rid of the circle. And I'm going to click on that point, move my mouse, and click. And the green check mark. So now I've indicated that's the origin. So when I'm setting it up on the CNC machine, that's the point that I set as the origin. I'm going to use the note tool, which is the capital A, and I'm going to click, and the note that we're putting is V-bit. So that is the type of bit that we're using. And then your initials, because that's going to be the name of the sign. Green check mark. Turn off the note tool. Down in the bottom right corner, you can see there's the title block. I'm going to zoom in. I'm going to double click that title block. And when I double click it, I can then edit the text in there. So I'm backspacing those, deleting those, and clicking the name and the green check mark. And it automatically pulls the name based on what you set. Last thing is the dimension tool. So there's the dimension tool. I'm going to click the bottom of the sign and then click, and that's showing me that it's 12 inches. And the side, that's showing me it's 5.5. And for bonus marks, if I click the thickness, I know how thick the material should be. So my drawing is now done. I right click, I export, and PDF, and we're good. And those are the files that you need to upload to Google Classroom. Hope that helps.